Buckeye Lounge, we run this game. Shrockstar Shaun, remember the name. TG's lurking, Wolverine's fear. Scarlet and gray, make it loud and clear. TG and Shaun, bringing that smoke. They stand in the paint, that ain't no joke. Tune in, turn up, let the show begin. The Buckeye Lounge, straight fire within. Buckeye Lounge, we run this game. Shrockstar Shaun, remember the name. TG's lurking, Wolverine's fear. Scarlet and gray, make it loud and clear.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Buckeye fans of all ages, the Ohio Podcast proudly brings to you the Buckeye Lounge. I'm your host, the Shrockstar Shaun Shrock. With me, as always, the Wolverine Slayer herself, Miss TG. And we have a very special guest making his return appearance here on the Buckeye Lounge, Uncle Lou. Uncle Lou, how are you today, buddy?
Man, I'm doing good. Middle of football season, the weather's starting to turn a little, well, it never really gets cold here, not compared to where y'all are at, but it's starting to get a little cooler down here. Halloween right around the corner. Man, life is good.
Hey, guys, before we go any further, just remember that we are sponsored by buybookie.com. If you're not a member of that, go ahead and click on it. Get in there, put in the promo code Ohio, and you will have $500 bet insurance. So if you make $500 worth of bad bets, you get insured on it. So not a bad deal to start out with if you're going to try online betting. Uncle Lou, congratulations, man. You guys had a big win last Saturday.
Yeah, that was a little stressful. I'm not used to Georgia games going that way, you know. So I don't know, all these second half comebacks, losing at halftime every week. I mean, obviously I'm glad Georgia's winning the majority of those games, but that's a dangerous way to live as a football team because I don't know. I'd like to get some leads in the first half. That would be okay too. But I mean, 6-1, you know, the goal is 10-2 and get into the playoffs. So they're on track. So we'll see.
Now, how do you feel your quarterback's coming along? I know this is his first year as a full-time starter. Do you see improvement every week? Do you like the way it's going, or?
Yeah, I think he had the best game of his year this past weekend against Ole Miss. I mean, he accounted for all 5 Georgia touchdowns, 4 through the air, 1 on the ground. He's top 5 or 10 in QBR across the country, completes a high percentage of passes, has, I think, only 1 interception, which is probably the craziest stat because usually if you're going to have a first-year starter, if there's something that's going to pop up, it's going to be interceptions. Maybe he's trying to make some throws he thought he could make in high school, and you can't make them at the college level, you know. But so he's played well. I think I wish he would take a few more chances. Kirby Smart actually said a couple of weeks ago, a reporter asked him about Gunner only having the 1 interception, and Kirby kind of chuckled, and he was, I don't remember his exact quote, but it was basically like, you know, I wish he had 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. He needs to take more chances down the field. So, and we're starting to see some of that. I mean, he's a first-year starter, but he's been there a long time. It's his, I think, 4th year in the program. So he's been there a long time. Been with the same OC the entire time. Well, Monken and now Bobo, but Bobo was on staff when Monken was there too. So he's playing well. I mean, it's really the defensive side of the ball that has been the problem, which is weird because it's usually the other way around. But he's played well.
That's great to hear, actually. What would you say your team needs to get better with overall?
Well, they're dead last in the country in sacks, and they can't cover anybody. And you need to be able to do one of this. I mean, ideally, you want to do both, but you need to be able to do one. Like, if you can't get to the quarterback, you better be able to cover the receivers. If you can't cover the receivers, you better get to the quarterback. They can't do either one. They've got, I think, 6 or 7 sacks all year. Basically, they're averaging 1 sack a game. And in the majority of their games, they don't have any. There's not a single defensive lineman on the roster that has a sack, not one. So all the sacks have been by linebackers, coming on a blitz or whatever the case. So they struggle there. And several games, Alabama, Tennessee, or pretty much anybody that's been able to throw the ball has had success throwing the ball against Georgia, because we don't have the secondary we're accustomed to having, and without a pass rush. Ty Simpson's not the most mobile guy in the world, but if you let him sit back there for 10 or 15 minutes, he's going to find an open receiver. You just can't do that. And it's weird to see. I go into every season kind of taking the defense for granted, because it's just been so good for so long, and you figure, well, Kirby's there. There's like a floor. Like, it's never going to get below a certain point as long as Kirby is there, and they recruit in the top 3 every single year. But they just don't have the talent over there this year that they definitely don't have what they had like in 21 and 22. Those sort of all-time great defenses. But it's shocking, really, when you watch them. They're not terrible. Look, it's like, I'm complaining about, it's like rich people problems. Georgia's defense is pretty good, but the standard of a Georgia defense is up here, and they're not playing up here. There's a lot of teams across the country I'm sure would be happy with the defense Georgia's putting on the field every week, but as a Georgia fan, it's not meeting the standard.
But you guys got expectations and standards, man. There's nothing wrong with holding, we do it here with offense, and people were kind of getting a little upset with Brian Hartline not pushing the ball down the field earlier in the year, but they were kind of just easing Julian into it in the last couple of weeks. You've noticed he's been throwing the ball a lot more down the field, so
yeah,
can't complain right now with the way he looks.
Yeah, and I'm not going to take any shit in the comments about drag racing from a fan of a team who educated Jeffrey Dahmer, so they can just cut that shit out now.
Hey guys, I'm going to tell you one thing. Be respectful to Uncle Lou. He loves the trash talk, but no personal attacks, please. Show some respect, because this dude is an awesome dude, and he loves to joke around and banter, but guys, no personal attacks on anybody, okay? Seriously. Not cool.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Some people we do be getting trolls in the chat. I'll say that now. But
We're getting trolls usually. But.
Yeah, but hopefully they're not. But if they're in the chat, I don't care. It's like more the merrier. Don't care. Now, Lisa does ask, can we trash? Listen here, we can trash them a little later, because especially Uncle Luke, because I do want to hear his thoughts on these two teams in particular. But it's actually going to be pretty fun. But I will say this to add on about Georgia. What do you think they need to change on the offense? Because I'm not going to lie, even though your offense has played pretty good, I do notice there's still some holes there.
Well, losing Colby Young doesn't help at wide receiver. Noah Thomas is going to have to play a lot better. But really, I think the offense has played pretty well. I don't have many complaints with the offense. They lead the SEC in scoring in conference games. I think Tennessee has scored more points. But Tennessee's like Oregon does this too. Ohio State doesn't do this, to their credit. But you play these low-level teams,
Run them up.
we can score 70 on them if we want to. That shouldn't be the goal. The goal should be to improve. Get your secondary guys in there, get them some experience, practice things in a real game environment. Not everybody does that. Tennessee doesn't. They pat themselves on the back for scoring 70 on Group of 5 teams. Oregon does the same thing. There's several. Florida State did it. Remember, the first after they beat Alabama, they rung up 70 points on a couple of nobodies, and now they can't win a game. So. But in conference games, Georgia leads the SEC in scoring. So the offense, I think, has been okay. I don't have too many complaints about the offense.
Is there a team in the SEC that surprised you this year, and is there one that you thought was going to do better that hasn't been as good?
Well, Texas A&M has been surprising just because you almost fall into this. It's sort of like with Penn State. Like, yeah, you had to look into Penn State every offseason, but at the end of the day, you went, well, they're going 10-2, and they're going to lose to the 2 best teams they play, because that's what they always do. With Texas A&M, it's kind of the same thing. I like Mike Elko. I'm not shocked that they're good, but Texas A&M has gone 8-4, like all but like 3 years that they've been in the SEC. So you kind of just fall into this kind of a lull where you just expect that every year, and they're obviously not that this year. They're whatever 7-0. So they'd have to lose 4 of their next 5 games to finish 8-4. That's not going to happen. They're more likely to make the SEC championship game than they are to go 8-4 at this point. But I think they're a legitimately good team. Vandy's another one. I thought it was just kind of a fluke, last year because they beat Alabama last year, but beyond that, what really did they do? Nothing. They were 6-6 or whatever they were, and I was like, everybody was talking about them this off season with the quarterback coming back, and I didn't buy into it. I thought they'd win 4 or 5 games again. They're obviously pretty good, 6-1 or whatever they are. Just beat LSU, play Missouri this weekend, and then I'm really not surprised about Auburn and Florida being that bad. They have bad coaches, and it's hard to be good with a bad coach. I mean, there's a few examples of it. 2019 LSU. I don't think Ed Orgeron's a very good coach, but he had 2 great coordinators. He had an Ohio State quarterback that y'all didn't need, and they ended up being pretty good. So, but Napier at Florida, Hugh Freeze at Auburn. I mean, these guys, they just don't know what they're doing. So I'm not shocked that they're terrible. South Carolina's a little worse maybe than I thought they would be. I knew their schedule was tough, so I'm not even necessarily talking about their record. But Lenore Sellers has been a disappointment there at quarterback. He had Heisman buzz in the offseason. He was one of the most exciting players in all of college football last year, ran around, sort of drug Carolina to a win against Clemson by himself at the end of the year. And they've just been an absolute disaster this year. So they're probably the one to the negative that's surprising me the most.
I'm thank you for the $2, RK Mango. I mean, I kind of see your point there because trashing 2023 Florida State, but let's be real, it's like I think a lot of people trash them for this one reason. It's like even if you went into the playoffs, you had a 3rd-string quarterback, there's no way you were gonna win. Like, sorry, it's just being truthful.
Well, not being able to win is not the same as losing 63-3. They got absolutely.
Well, actually, they did. Like a lot of their players bailed out in the postseason.
A lot of players bail out of every postseason game. Nobody has ever lost a postseason game by 60 points except Florida State. It's the only time, and it's the worst bowl beating in the history of bowls. We've been doing it for 120 years, and players have been sitting out of bowl games for 10 years. They didn't lose by 60.
How would you fix the defense on Georgia? Buck Vader wanted to ask you that. How would you fix it?
The portal? I mean, I don't think it can be fixed during the season. I mean, maybe there's some things they can do schematically to make up for the fact that they don't have the talent to rush the quarterback or cover receivers. But the real fix is going to happen in the offseason. They're going to have to bring different players in or recruiting or however you want to look at it. I mean, they tried. They went out and got Elo Mendoza, the kid from Army. He can't get on the field. So I don't know what the deal is with that. He's either a bust or not any good, or I don't know. He looked good at Army, but that's Army. If the competition's not the same week in and week out, they brought him in and it hasn't worked. That was sort of their big defensive acquisition in the offseason through the portal was Elo Mendoza from Army, and he's done absolutely nothing.
Now, do you think, we say this all the time, it's my opinion, but do you think Brian Kelly is the most overrated coach in college football?
I struggle with this when it comes to people like Brian Kelly, James Franklin, even going back to Mark Richt at Georgia. These are guys who have averaged 10 wins a year in Power 4 football for 15 years. There's not very many people that have ever done that for that long a period of time. Now, do I think Brian Kelly is an elite level coach who's going to win a national title? No, but there's only 3 of those walking around right now. Mm-hmm. You have one, I have one, and Clemson's got one. So is he that? No. Is he Billy Napier? No. He's James Franklin. He's Mark Richt. He's Josh Heupel of Tennessee.
John Cooper.
John Cooper. I don't think he's terrible. Now, I don't think he's a very good fit for LSU. And, people have different opinions on that. It's like, well, you can be a terrible fit, but if you're winning, no one cares. Once you start losing, then everybody wants to say it's a bad fit. I thought it was a bad fit from the beginning. LSU, it's a weird part of the country there down there. They're very, I don't want to use the word weird, but I don't know what else to say. So they're weird down there, and he's not. I don't know. It didn't seem like it would work to me when they hired him. As far as their last three coaches have won national titles. So, I
Yeah.
mean, that's a place where you can win at a high level. Saban, Orgeron, and
Miles.
Les Miles. That's their last three coaches. They all won natties. You bring Brian Kelly in. He had a horrible, horrible postseason record. I mean, he was 0 for every major postseason game he ever played at Notre Dame. He lost every New Year's Six game. He lost every BCS game. He lost every playoff game. The 1 year they were in the ACC permanently, the COVID year, he lost the ACC championship game. And he's continued that now at LSU. They made the SEC championship a few years ago. He lost. He's yet to make the playoffs at LSU. I don't think he's going to get LSU to where they want to go. Are they going to fire him this year? I'd be surprised. Now, if they lose 4 of their next 5 games or something and finish 6-6 or 7-5, yeah. But I mean, right now they're 5-2, so technically they still have everything to play for if they can get it figured out. But Nussmeier has been a disappointment over there at quarterback. I don't believe the injury. He's not injured. I don't buy that. I think that's excuse making from people trying to protect his draft stock or whatever. They never said anything about him being injured. And then after the first couple of games, he's not playing good, and all of a sudden, oh well, he must be injured. Then they get ready to play Louisiana Tech. The week after Louisiana Tech, they were playing Ole Miss, which at that point was their biggest game of the year so far. Mm-hmm. And Nussmeier played the entire game against Louisiana Tech. So don't tell me the guy's injured, and he's out here playing 4 quarters against Louisiana Tech when you could have sat him down and beat Louisiana Tech with one hand tied behind your back. If he was injured, he wouldn't have played against Louisiana Tech, but he did. He goes out, plays against Ole Miss. They lose that one. Now they've lost again to Vandy. They play at Alabama in a couple of weeks. I mean, that's not going to go well for them. So the fans are not happy. The LSU fans are mad as hell. I mean, they if it was up to the fan vote, they would probably fire Kelly right now. But if he goes 8-4 or 9-3, I don't think they're going to fire him.
Now we have a $2 super chat from RK Mangoes.
It's about the earlier thing with FSU. I'm not gonna say. Look, every fan base has that. Even Ohio State fans have that. Maybe it's not as much. Like we have that small 10% compared to like everybody else.
Have more than that.
Can you put that back up for a second?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Is that guy a Florida State fan? Is that why he's so upset?
I don't know. No, he's an Ohio State fan.
I think he's a Buckeye fan, but at the same time, and not to mention, I know for a fact you still do got some Buckeye fans that are still salty about 2022. So, yeah. Well, and not only that, after that game, there was some Georgia fans going after Ohio State fans. So I could see if there's a case where you have some Ohio State fans that don't like certain Georgia fans because of how some of them kind of work. I can understand that. It's not all.
Yeah. But, well, you know why I don't like mangoes?
Why is that?
Because they don't know how to spell arrogant. So, it's a pretty basic word. Do you know how hard it is to misspell a word with spell correct? What are you doing, bud? What are you doing? You know when you type,
Jesus,
and you can't spell basic words, bud.
Hey, if you're gonna come at, I'm just gonna warn everybody. If you're gonna come at Uncle Lou, he's got every right to come back at you. So just do it as playful banters. Don't take any personal shots because that's not cool.
Buddy, you can debate me in real life every Tuesday and Thursday night at 9 p.m. I have a call-in show. Get somebody to show you how to use it and call into my show. I'll put you on for the entire hour, buddy.
Oh my God, this is Jesus Christ. Guys, come on, let's not be. Look, dude, I can understand if you have some issues with Georgia fans. I can get it because we all have an issue with a certain set of fans, but it's not all Georgia fans. Don't be going at Uncle Lou, bro.
Hey, guys.
It's like, you should know. I tell people all the time, don't go at me if you don't want no smoke. Unless you want smoke with Uncle Lou, do not go with him. Don't.
Hey, guys, they beat us, so they got the bragging rights, man. So I
Yeah,
mean,
regardless of how we all might feel
never
about
even
it,
brought
even if
that
we
up.
do
I'm not
feel
on
like
here.
there's some dirty in it, it
I'm
don't
not
matter.
on here to brag about a playoff win from 3 years ago over Ohio State. I haven't brought it up. If this guy's still mad about a game from 3 years
yeah.
ago, my suggestion to
I
him
mean,
would
there
be
are some Georgia fans who still do talk
lose
about
to
it.
the SEC every time they play them, dummy. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you're 5-13 against the SEC. That's not Uncle Luke.
Actually, they're not 5-13 against the SEC anymore. The
Yes,
record.
they are. They were 3-13. Now, okay, 6-13 now.
No, the original record was 5-13, and then these past set of games against both Tennessee and these past two games against Texas has Ohio State, I believe, at like 7, 8, and 13.
Dang, losing record. What's worse, your record against Michigan or your record against the SEC?
Ooh.
Ooh, that's a good question. That I would say the record, like,
Mango, I thought you were leaving, bud. Why are you still in here? This
yeah,
isn't
you're
an
right, because I'm about to add, because Tyler, dude, I'm gonna put the thing up and just say thank you for the $2 RK Mango, and I'll just say that.
Yeah,
But
this ain't an airport, buddy. You don't have to announce your arrival or your departure. No one cares. If you're leaving, click off the video. Why announcing your? What do you? Oh, I'm leaving. What do you want? A bunch of people to beg you to stay?
yeah, I would say honestly, I think we can make up our record against the SEC because it's like that is the one set of tough opponents, but it's like we come so close and yet we just don't achieve it. Whereas with Michigan, it's like that's our arch rival, and us losing to them for like 4 straight years, it's especially here in their fan base talk, it's just torture because they will not shut up.
Well, we did own them for 20 years, so I mean,
Yeah, we did, and then they just start with this cheating scandal, and that's what really
Yeah.
makes it more.
And they
irritating.
did
That's what
cheat.
makes it worse.
They did cheat. They did
That's
cheat.
what makes it worse is the fact that they cheated and
Look
somehow.
at the record. Look at the record the 5 years before the cheating, and look at the record the last 2 years after the cheating.
Oh, you don't even have to look at the record for the past 5 years. You can look at their record for the past like 80 years before cheating, and then you look at what they've been as a winning program. Nothing, non-existent.
now, one thing I like to ask you, Lou, how many teams do you think come out of the SEC to the playoffs this year?
Man, this is a popular talking point right now. It feels like 4, but the problem is without knowing the scenarios around the rest of college football, it's really hard to determine that because Notre Dame is the fly in the ointment, right? If they go 10-2, they're probably going to get in. They lose a game, they're definitely not getting in. So if they do lose a game, that opens up a spot for somebody, whether it's an additional Big Ten team, additional SEC, whatever the case. The other interesting thing is the ACC because Miami's going to be favored in the rest of the games they play. Now, they were favored in the game they lost, so that doesn't mean anything. But if Miami goes 11-1, they still might not get in the ACC championship game. Georgia Tech and Virginia have 0 ACC losses. Louisville has 1 ACC loss, but because they beat Miami, they own the tiebreaker over Miami. So Miami's going to have to get ahead of those teams somehow. Those teams are going to need to lose. It's possible Miami goes 11-1 and doesn't make the ACC championship game. Okay, if Notre Dame's 10-2 and you're going to put them in, how do you not put Miami in at 11-1 when they beat Notre Dame?
Exactly.
So, and then you also have to put the winner of the ACC championship game in, no matter what. It's a requirement. So if that happens, you get 2 ACC teams in, which you did last year. But what if Georgia Tech is 12-0 and loses the ACC championship game and Miami's 11-1 and Notre Dame gets in? Now you got 3 ACC teams in the playoff. So, and there's scenarios like that in the Big 12 too. So without knowing how all that plays out, it's hard to know whether the SEC or the Big Ten would get 2, 3, 4. I don't think anybody's getting more than 4. I just think the fallout would be. I just think there'd be people would riot in the streets. I think if the Big Ten or the SEC, either one got 5 teams in, whether they deserve it or not is beside the point. I just don't think they would do it. So it's hard to know, but it's going to be interesting because, we all sort of nitpick the committee and, they should have done this and they should have put that and they should. That's not an easy job. Like, it's not easy to really. It's the same thing with top 25 rankings, by the way. It's really easy to complain about a top 25 ranking, but until you've sat down and tried to make one, like, it's not easy. Like, and it's the same thing with that committee. So, I mean, I don't feel bad for them. They're millionaires. I don't feel sorry for them. But, like, it's not as easy as just going, well, those are obviously the 12 teams you should put in. No, there is no obvious 12. College football is just way too subjective. There's, 140 teams. They can't all play each other. So at the end of the day, you're having to guess whether Team A deserves to be in a playoff more than Team B, whoever those two teams are. And you're going to have some people who agree and some people who disagree. So,
Yeah, Lou, Tyler asks, who would be on your playoff bracket so far if you had to make a prediction right now?
yeah. Ohio State and Indiana, I think they're both going to go 12-0. So no matter what happens there, that's they're getting in. That's two of them. If I had to pick two out of the SEC right now, I'd go Bama, Texas A&M. So that'd be 4. I think Notre Dame's going to win out and get in. That's 5. I think Texas Tech is going to win the Big 12. That's 6. I'm going to put Georgia in. That's 7. The third team from the Big 10, Oregon. But
Yeah.
man, Oregon's got some tough. I mean, Oregon plays Southern Cal and Washington at the end of the year. Oregon does. Those are tough games. But right now, I'll put Oregon in. From the ACC, I still think Miami is the best team in the ACC. But that doesn't mean they're going to win the ACC, like we just talked about. They might not even make the title game. They don't play Georgia Tech or Virginia. So, but I think Miami gets in, and I think right now probably 2 ACC teams are going to get in. So 2 ACC. I'm going to say 4 SEC, 1 Big 12, Notre Dame. I think the same as last year, but SEC 4, Big 10 3.
Now,
Swapped from last year.
How about group of 5 team? Do you think there'll be a group of Memphis maybe?
Yeah. Well, they just lost. That hurts their chances. And now I think they play South Florida this week, though.
South Florida is the team I was thinking of.
That's who South Florida is the highest ranked group of 5 team right now. In fact, they're the only ranked group of 5 team now. If Memphis beats South Florida this week, that becomes interesting. And then I think they'll probably end up playing again in the conference championship game. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would pick South Florida right now. They've UNLV was undefeated, but they just got blown out by Boise State, and Boise State's got 2 losses. So it's hard to see Boise State ever being ranked higher than South Florida. So probably South Florida.
Okay. Pigskin Pete, thank you for the. I know you're an SEC fan, by the way. Thank you for the $4.99. He does wonder, why do you wear sunglasses indoors, Lou, when there's no sun?
That's my buddy Pete. Yeah, well, we've been friends a long time. He's an ACC. He's a Tater. He's a Clemson Tater. So he's down.
Oh.
We gotta take it easy on him. We gotta take it easy on him. The Taters are in a bad way right now.
I mean, they should be. I mean, I think it's going downhill from there, and they need to get rid of Dabo Sweeney. Yes, he was a great coach, and he brought you up to the pinnacle, but my God, he's falling off the wagon because of his mouth.
Yeah.
Now, do you think Illinois could slide in there as a 4th team? Because they've only lost if they win out, they've only lost to Indiana and Ohio State.
Yeah, I got their schedule pulled up here because I figured we would get to that at some point. They play at Washington.
They just lost to Michigan, so there is a chance that Illinois could win that game, but Washington could be looking for a bounce back too.
If they get through that, if they get past that Washington game though, so they're on a bye week, then they play at Washington, then they're home against Rutgers, they should win that one. Home against Maryland, should win that one. At Wisconsin, don't even need to talk about that. And then home against Northwestern. If they get past the Washington game, then I think they're in line to be the 4th Big 10 team. Yeah. Behind Oregon, or possibly ahead of Oregon, depending on how Oregon handles the back half of their schedule, because they got some tough games too. Oregon does.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of Oregon, because we have one of our Oregon fans, the Duck Knight. He says Evan Stewart will be back for the USC and Washington game. Where, if that's actually true, because I thought he was having a season-ending injury. If that's true, that would be something.
Yeah.
I have to read about that, because that is news to me.
Now, any chance? You think there's any chance in heck that Michigan makes it?
I predicted Michigan to make the playoffs in the preseason. I thought they would be the 3rd team out of the Big 10. And I do think Bryce Underwear is getting better when it comes to throwing the ball. But I mean, I'm going to pick Ohio State to beat them again. But I pick Ohio State to beat Michigan every year. You got to play them there. So that's probably going to be a big game. Well, it's always a big game, but I mean, it could be where it has playoff implications for both teams. Whereas last year, Michigan was playing for pride. That was it. They weren't going anywhere, no matter what happened in that game. But it could have a lot more meaning this year. But boy, I hate to see how bad Bryce Underwear would look against that Ohio State defense. I mean,
I think he would look terrible because
and
I'm
defense
not gonna
tried.
lie. When it comes to Bryce Underwood, I watched that Washington game and I said, what's super funny? Washington did not look like they came to play. Like they looked like they were just completely out of it. And then I watched Desmond Williams Jr. and they say he plays like Kyler Murray. I'm like, oh yeah, he definitely does if you play that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely basically look like Kyler Murray for sure. But I'm like, when you say he gets better throwing the ball, I still see the problems in his game. Like maybe he's getting better, but I don't know for certainty because I'm like I can't take Michigan. I just don't take him seriously. I just can't.
Yeah.
Like the wide receivers, I don't take seriously. Other than that speedster guy they got.
Marsh.
Yeah,
Their wide receiver room makes Penn State's wide receivers look good.
right. and what's super funny about that is like he's their only good receiver, but his whole thing is speed. Like this guy can't run routes for nothing.
Yeah.
Like what is it that I've said about like Oregon before when it came to their receivers? Like one of the reasons I was never worried about their receivers was they only run like slants and go routes. Like they are not great route runners and they rely on their speed too much. Now what happens when you're going up against a team that can match your speed?
Yeah. You got nothing left. Yeah.
Right. Like if you can't run routes, it don't matter how good you are. So
Yeah.
I don't know how much better he really is getting. Like that Washington game done for me because the more I watch it, the more I'm like, y'all did not wake up for that game. Y'all not used to it. Yeah, I can easily see it. You didn't. That's why I'm like, Illinois could really beat these guys now. Could Washington come back and beat them? Sure. Like they do have a good offense, but at the same time, it's like they pretty much showed you at their worst what they can be. And
They play different at home, so I mean that wasn't a way.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Though they do play different at home, but that's the point. Though because here's the reality. You can't always rely on your home games because when you go away and you want to be a playoff team, because they talk about not being a ranked team. Well, here's the problem: you can't play in away games. So what happens when you're playing when you're playing like an away game in the first round, or you're playing a bowl game when it's an even playing field? So like you can't rely on home all the time. Like you got to show up regardless. So it doesn't matter. Which, speaking of such, we already know for Ohio State why Ohio State's had trouble beating Michigan. Now, Eric has said this. Michigan's built to beat Ohio State. Ohio State's built to win national titles. That's the difference between the two. But also a mental block because Ryan Day has been put into the whole facade of how much the media is trying forcing this narrative. So hopefully he's gotten out of that. But Buckeye in the KS says, because what would your reason be as to why Georgia can't beat Bama? That actually would be a good.
Yeah, I mean, I can't figure it out. I mean, obviously, I thought it was Saban, and as much as I hated losing to Saban, at least I could tell myself, well, we're getting beat by maybe the best ever coach, so makes me feel a little better or whatever. But then they change coaches. Kalen DeBoer comes in, loses to Vandy, Oklahoma, terrible Michigan team, and smacks Georgia around like it's a hobby. Like it's just, I can't figure it out. I can't figure it. I don't know. It's got to be something with Kirby because this has been happening. Kirby's been in Athens for 10 years. He's had multiple offensive coordinators, multiple quarterbacks. The roster has turned over multiple times, multiple defensive coordinators. And the result against Bama is the same. They beat everybody else and lose to Bama in the SEC. So I don't know. I mean, it's to the point now I don't even expect it. I picked Bama to beat Georgia in the preseason. I picked Bama to beat Georgia the week of the game. If they play in the SEC title game, I'll pick Bama to win. I mean, I don't like it, but at some point you have to face reality. Now, y'all are having a hard time doing that. Because
we can't beat Michigan, but actually we do tell people straight up, like until Ryan Day shows us, we're gonna pick Ohio State just because of bias. But the reality is, until Ryan Day proves that he can beat Michigan, we're not gonna say straight up like every year is gonna be a win until he shows us he can beat.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I mean, I'm not an Ohio State or a Michigan fan, but I look at that series over the last 4 or 5 years the same way, and because there's really only 1 year where I felt like Michigan was a better team than Ohio State, and the rest of the time I'm like, how does this keep happening?
Yeah.
And then I watched my team play Georgia, and I'm like, oh yeah, or my team play Bama, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's how it keeps happening.
Well,
Sometimes
Yeah.
somebody's just got your number sometimes, and you mentioned it being in Ryan Day's head or whatever it is. It's
Yeah.
got to be something like that with Kirby too. I mean, I cannot figure it out.
Yeah,
And
and
this year, Kirby had not played Bama in Athens, not a single time. Every game has been in Tuscaloosa or Atlanta, the SEC championship game. And then there was the national championship game where Georgia played Bama in Indianapolis, but they had never played in Athens. So I'm like, oh, well, maybe then, since it's finally in Athens, no. No, losing 21-3 or whatever it was at one point. I'm like, they came back in the second half and made it close, but so it was worth watching. But I mean, the result, it was the same. Another loss to Bama. So
see, as an
Yeah.
Ohio State fan, Lou, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 46. I lived through the Cooper years. So I saw some really great Ohio State teams just lose to Michigan teams that they shouldn't. So I never take that game for granted.
yeah,
Never.
I get it.
I mean,
Yeah, we're about the
Yeah,
same
you never
age.
take those games for granted. I'm glad I didn't see him, but like when you see this in my day and age, it's like Jesus Christ, you got the better team and you're
like
losing.
last year. I
Yeah,
mean,
like last year, 2024, like dude, and it's like all because they're in your head, but also Will Howard did suffer concussion and he didn't trust Devin Brown and he definitely didn't want to throw Julian Sand out there. So
Yeah,
it's like at some point you should have realized, but I hope he got it out of his head this time. And for this guy right here, I can tell you're a Mississippi State fan. Let me tell you something. Indiana's better than freaking Mississippi State. They would destroy you guys a lot worse than they did Illinois. They're the second best team in the country, believe it or not. Indiana of all freaking teams. Which, if someone told you, and Uncle Lou, like, be honest with me here, if someone told you that Indiana was going to be the second best team in the country, how would
no,
you have reacted?
no. It's a similar thing with going on with Vandy in the SEC. Now Vandy's not the second best team in the country, but they're a legitimate top 15 team, and I mean, and I'm in SEC territory, and I still can't. I know they're good, but it's like an alternate reality or something. I'm like, what? I'm looking around. Florida is firing coaches every 3 years. Vandy is going to make a college football playoff before Florida. Florida's never
Again,
made. I mean, that is
Indiana and
mind-boggling to me.
Vanderbilt. That is just
Yeah, it's mind.
you're in an alternate universe. You're like you would have never thought that.
Yeah,
that quarterback's awesome down there, though. I give
I
that
love
kid.
watching him
Yeah,
play.
I'm gonna
It's
tell you
like
this right now.
Diamond Manziel, man.
Diego Pavia, yeah, he's a trash talker, but that guy can back up what he's talking about. He
Yeah.
backs it up.
Reminds me of when Manziel that year he won the Heisman. I mean, that kid runs around, makes plays.
Yeah.
Like his hair's on fire.
Yeah, Manziel, Baker Mayfield was kind of that way at Oklahoma. Yeah, Signetti's that way as a coach.
He's awesome.
If you talk it, you better back it up. And Signetti's backing it up. Pavia's backing it up. Manziel backed it up. Baker Mayfield backed it up.
Yeah, the one thing we say to Kirk Signetti is, listen, you can talk trash and back it up to everybody else. The one program probably shouldn't do that too is the program that whooped you last year because you talked that mess.
Yeah.
So until you beat them, don't talk your mess.
Yeah.
I'd say what I think Mendoza was probably the most underrated get in the transfer portal that we didn't really hear too much about, but that kid's, I mean, he's like the top 3 in the Heisman right now.
Yeah, it's a weird year for quarterbacks, right? Because you go back and you think about all the names we were force-fed in the offseason. Cade Klubnik, Arch Manning, Garrett Nussmeier. They're all terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And the good quarterbacks are Julian Sayin, a first-year starter at Ohio State. Mendoza, a transfer that no one knew about. The guy at Ole Miss. Y'all might know that college. There's a college somewhere in Detroit. I forget the name. It's like a Division III college. Ole Miss goes out and finds this guy there, brings him into Ole Miss, and now he's 300 yards a game. Just Trinidad Chambliss or whatever.
I don't even know who he is, honestly.
Yeah, he was from some Division III. Nothing.
Yeah, he's from some Division III school, but it's like you don't know who he is, and then you see him coming. It's like, what is this?
Yeah, and then Arch Manning, who has been given elite training from the time he was 8 years old, can't complete a pass. It's just the weirdest. It's the weirdest year for Ty Simpson at Bama. The guy's been at Bama 5 years, couldn't get on the field. Now he's playing. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the country now.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Caleb Sanderson, thank you for the 4. Or should I say for the $5? He says, imagine telling someone at the beginning of the year Tennessee versus Vandy is a playoff elimination game and Clemson versus SC is a bowl eligibility.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the twilight zone of college football. It's really weird. Georgia's got a good offense and can't play defense. I'm like, what am I watching here? What is that? Is that a Big 12 logo on Georgia's jersey? What in the world?
I
And
tell
then
you
this
what,
guy
though,
brings up about that business. Hey, I got Buckeye Bill. He's about who said that Indiana and Vanderbilt is going to be in the championship game.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
if that actually happens, that would be just the
yeah,
funniest
that would
thing.
be
The two
crazy.
losingest colleges in all of history go to the. Because the funny thing is, people really do believe Indiana could challenge for a national title, which honestly, they honestly could with how good their team is on defense and offense, and that's what's crazy.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
it takes is one bad game, man. I mean, we've seen it in playoffs. It takes one bad play, one bad bounce, or a bad call, and you.
The bracket is so important. We found. I mean, if I didn't learn anything else about the 12-team playoff last year, that bracket is so important. Because I still think Oregon and Ohio State were the two best teams last year.
Mhm.
I know y'all beat the soul out of them in the Rose Bowl and all that, but you know, I don't know. I hope it works out better this year, where we don't have something like that happen again. Because that Oregon was better than what they sort of got forced into the playoff, in my opinion. Like
There's one thing I want to
Ohio
ask
State.
you. Sorry, Lou, didn't mean to cut you off there.
Right.
One thing I'd like to ask you about the playoff format. There's one thing you could change about it. What would you do?
I would extend the home games to round two. I feel like you're getting a reward and a punishment at the same time by winning by getting a bye.
Mhm.
Like it's great you get a bye, extra week off, one less game you have to win, which is great, but you miss out on the excitement of hosting a home playoff game. And I'm for college football games being played on college campuses.
Mhm.
Even the Georgia Florida game. I think we talked about this last time I was on here. I don't like the Georgia Florida game played in Jacksonville. I don't like Oklahoma and Texas played next to a Ferris wheel in Dallas for no reason. And I don't like these never ending string of neutral site games in the in the playoffs. Now the national title game, I'm all for treating that sort of like the Super Bowl. Let cities
It
bid.
is the Super Bowl of college football.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I'm fine if we keep that neutral and let cities put in bids to host the national title game every year. But I'd like to see the first two rounds, especially if they're going to go to 14 or 16 teams. I'd like to see the first two rounds both be home games. And look, let's be real. We're all fans here. Like I don't travel to a lot of games because I work from here on the weekends, but imagine you're a fan who wants to go to some of these games.
Mhm.
You got to pay whatever you got to pay to go to Indianapolis to go to the Big Ten title game to watch Ohio State play the Big Ten title game. And then let's say you get a bye. And then like last year, your first round playoff game's the Rose Bowl. Okay, now you're in Columbus, Ohio. You're buying a plane ticket to California a week after Christmas
Yeah.
to watch Ohio State play Oregon in the Rose Bowl. That's great. Guess what you got to do 10 days later? Buy a plane ticket to New Orleans or Tempe, Arizona or Miami,
Exactly.
Florida for the Orange Bowl and
Oh,
watch the Final Four. And then, God forbid, your team wins that game. Now you're buying a plane ticket to Vegas or wherever else for the national title game. I mean, at some point, what's going to happen is the national title game is going to be filled with rich people, not
yeah.
fans of the team, because you just can't. Because the Super Bowl's that way. It's all Coke executives, and it's a business meeting. The Super Bowl's a business meeting. You can't afford the ticket. You can't
No.
afford the travel, and they're stretching. You get donation emails every other week. We need more NIL money. We need more indoor practice facility money. We need money for this. We need money for that. Now you got to travel to 4 games the month after Christmas. It's a lot. I'd like to see them more games played at home in the postseason.
I thought maybe till the final four, you know, have home field advantage, kind of like almost like the pros.
Yeah,
Except the final
yeah.
four, you can still have your bowl games. For the 4 games, or
I'd love
I
to
would
see
like
it.
to, or I would like to see the championship game played at the Rose Bowl every year because I think I love that facility. I think that's the best place to see a football game. But that's just I'm biased because I'm a Big Ten guy. So
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, I mean, no doubt. And thank you, Michigan Man 69, Michigan fan. Thank you for the 5. Obviously, this comment is about Bo Jackson and has he won because Ohio State fans won't stop talking about him. Let me tell you something, buddy. Ooh, it's because Bo Jackson might be one of the next great running backs at Ohio State.
yeah.
That dude is elite. And yes, we have Jeremiah Smith, and we're thankful for that. Thank you very much.
we're thankful for Carnell Tate. We're thankful for Julian Saint, Brandon Ennis,
We're
and
thankful for all the talent we have. Like, dude, y'all. Like, I mean, as Tyler said it, where's his? Where's here? It is. He's like, hey, Michigan fan, guess what? You still have 2 losses, dummy. So, and look, no matter what you can say about Ohio State, we're gonna praise the heck out of our talent and be and still and we're still gonna be thankful for all that. It's just that when you see a talent like Bo Jackson, yeah, you're gonna talk about him. Like, we're not just gonna talk about Jeremiah Smith now. Like, we got so much talent that these dudes are just.
Yeah, some of the Heisman talk with Bo Jackson was ridiculous, though.
no, I get that. Yeah,
No,
Guy-
I think he said is has Bo Jackson won 5 Heismans, like, because of how much Ohio State fans talk about him. That's what he
Right.
said.
Yeah. I mean, I've had Ohio State fans telling me since week 2 that Bo Jackson was winning the Heisman. So we're
No,
in,
what Ohio State fans were saying that. It's like,
we're in
no,
week
bro.
9.
It's like,
He's got 2 touchdowns. I mean, come on, let's pump the brakes here, guys.
let me tell you something.
touchdowns
The
are on week 9.
only Ohio State players that would even be in the Heisman conversation: Julian Sand, Jeremiah Smith, and Carnell Tate. Those are the only 3 you can even say that are even in the conversation.
And has any running back ever won the Heisman or the Doak Walker or any award when they were on a team that was 88th in the country in rushing? I don't think so. So
no.
and that's Ohio State. They're 88th in the country in rushing. So
Hey,
Yeah, that's because of how predictable our run game is. Like, we don't really try. Like,
that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
If
we
that's
really
you're
don't,
right.
and not only that, but we also have our own problems in the run game too. Because I'm not gonna lie, I really do believe Ted. Like, look, when Padilla's in the game and he's doing the run blocking, the run game looks better. When it like Ted's better in the pass game than Padilla is right now. So it's like, if you're gonna do the run game, put in Padilla, please. I would just say that. Change that right now.
I don't care what they do, but they need to figure it out because we've had Boom Heron, who's a former Ohio State running back, say that he thinks the line's playing good, that the running backs are missing key, not making good cuts and their vision's bad. Or we've had people say the line stinks. Whichever way it is.
No, I don't think the line stinks. It's just that they have their like Tagra's missed some blocks here and there, like as we've seen him do. And I do think the running backs at times do be missing the holes, but I have noticed in the Wisconsin game at least that you're seeing them get better at that. Because when the holes did open up, they were bursting through them.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State's a defensive team. I don't think anybody on Ohio State's winning the Heisman. I mean,
No.
they're in the 40s, 50s, 80s in every offensive category. I mean, they're loaded with talent, and if they need to score a bunch of points and put up a bunch of numbers, they can. But they don't need to do that because the defense is so good. So the Heisman is a numbers award, and there's not going to be anybody on Ohio State with the numbers to win the Heisman.
And our PR guys are horrible at pushing for the Heisman anyways. Jerry Emick or whatever his name is, does not push any
Did we
guys.
retire? Like, did we not hire anybody new? That would be my question.
Now, Lou, do you think Georgia gets another regular season loss?
Yes.
Who do you
Don't
think they're
ask
going
me
to lose to?
Yeah, at least
Oh,
I
okay.
asked that, by the way.
I don't
At
know.
least I did ask that.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I don't care who it's to. Like, okay, so the Florida game's a rivalry game. I'd like to win that game. But if you tell me right now Georgia's going to lose to Florida, win out, and go 10-2, I'd say, sign. Where do I sign? Because my goal is to get to the playoffs.
Mhm.
Would it be nice to go 100-0? And yeah, but realistically, I want Georgia to be playing in the playoffs in December, and to do that, they most likely need to go 10-2. It's possible some 9-3 teams get in, but we didn't see that last year, so I'm not betting on that. I don't want to be sweating on Selection Sunday with Georgia sitting at 9-3. So I want Georgia to go 10-2. Who the 2 losses are to, I really don't care. It could be Florida, could be Texas, could be Mississippi State, could be Georgia Tech. They can lose one of those games. They can't lose 2 of them.
Hoghead, thank you for the $10 super chat. Just discovered your channel. Thanks to Lou. Glad to be subscribed and looking forward to future shows. Thank you, Hoghead.
thank you, my man.
And Uncle Lou, thanks for posting the show, man. We appreciate
Yeah, I
it.
posted it on my community thing and on Twitter, so hopefully get some people over here.
Thank
By
you.
the way, Kurzberg, I'm sorry, dude, if I pronounce it wrong, but he says there is no running back who wins the Heisman this year. Even the guy Mizzou don't. Jason Taylor had 3 seasons in a row with
Jonathan.
2,000 yards and didn't even get invited. Heisman is irrelevant. I mean, that's true. Like, if you know what, that's actually factual. If you're telling me you got a running back that had 2,000 yards for 3 straight seasons and not once he got invited, your Heisman at that point is a joke, dude.
Yeah.
That's a joke. Like, you can't tell me you got a guy who had 2,000. You telling me this guy had 2,000 yards for 3 straight seasons and not one time got invited? What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
That's a quarterback award anymore. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
90% of it is, so.
I could see
Yeah.
Jeremiah Smith getting some like a finalist or whatever, just because he's so good. Like, you don't even have to. I mean, you just watch him. It doesn't matter. If he's got 10 catches or 1 catch, it doesn't matter. You just watch. It's just so obvious how good he is. And he gets a lot of attention. He was hyped from the time he came out of high school, so everybody knows who he is, and he's lived up to it. So I could see him. I could see him getting an invitation to New York. I mean, it's supposed to be the best player. We all know it's not the best player. Ndamukong Suh didn't win the Heisman. He was clearly the best player in college football the year he was there. Caleb Downs is probably the best defensive player in football. He's not going to get anywhere near the Heisman. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's irrelevant or whatever like he did. I still get excited, the Heisman thing. I like to watch it. Georgia had a finalist a couple of years ago, and I thought that was pretty cool or whatever. But it's the idea that it goes to the best college football player is, I mean, that's nobody is that.
Like,
Same.
like, I wouldn't say it's irrelevant, but it's like, it's a joke. It's really what it is.
It doesn't mean what they say it means.
Yeah.
It's not an award to recognize the best player in college football. It's an award to recognize somebody with good stats on a really good team.
If you look, Jeremiah will never have the stats to get it. Like you said, he'll probably be a finalist, get invited out there, but he's not going to have the stats. I mean, you got Carnell Tate and all the other weapons they have that they spread the ball out to. I mean,
Exactly.
Oh, by the way, him and Carnell and Jeremiah Smith are finalists for like the Beckoff Award already.
Yeah. And he should win that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's both of them, really. I don't know which one could win it. It could be Carnell, and it could be because Carnell's having himself a season too. Like him and like if they both become like co-winners, that would actually be fun for me because I'd be like, you know what? I would rather see that. I don't care which one of them win it, as long as Ohio State finally gets like a Ben Koff Award winner at least. Because I'm not gonna lie, one of the things they get me rigid with Jerry Emick is how our players, like Marvin, almost didn't win the Ben Koff Award in like 23. He almost didn't win it, and it took like a heck of a promotion from everybody else to push Jerry Emmett to do it, and he should have won it in 2022. And it was that guy from TCU, and it's like, did you not just call Marvin Harrison Jr. the best wide receiver? How did he not win the Ben Koff? And then we've also had, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Jason Smith-Njigba. None of those guys got the Ben Koff Award. No matter of fact, none of those guys were even finalists.
JSN got hurt, though, so it's...
No, I'm talking about before he got hurt.
He barely played that year, senior year.
No, before... No, not that year. We're talking about the multiple years, him, and... Because, don't forget, we've had 3,000-yard receivings. Him... Like, Chris Olave never had 1,000 yards, but he was always in, like, the 900s, where Jason and Garrett will always have, like, 1,000-yard seasons, and Chris was just like that, like, them inches away from getting that 1,000, but he never did. And at some point, all three of them guys, if anything, should have been invited to the Ben Koff Award, should have been finalists, and they never were. Like, you can't tell me you got receivers like that are doing that, and none of them get invited. At least, if you can't invite all three of them, at least invite one. Who you think is the best?
Here's a good question for Uncle Lou. Jay Ships asked, will Kirby open up coaching rehab like Saban did?
No, I got no interest in Kirby bringing in all these fired coaches. No.
You mean like what Ryan? You mean like it got funny because that's what Ohio State be talking about. Like that's what we're saying about Ryan Day since he like brought in freaking Matt Patricia and look at the Ohio State defense right now.
Yeah.
If he wants to bring in Sam Pittman to help coach that line,
yes. Now that I would sign on to. Yes, I would. I think anybody would take him. He's probably the best offensive line coach Georgia's ever had.
Yeah, and as Lisa basically said on a previous conversation that like when you have this many great players, it's gonna be hard to get some recognition.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, because I did see some on social media, and it's about Caden Curry. And the season he's been having, as a matter of fact, he's really emerged. Now, I know we haven't talked about him much since, but if you think about it, let me see if I can go to it now.
So he gets overlooked with the season Arvell's having. Then you got Sonny, then you got Caleb.
Oh, yeah, like Arvell's a freak. Dude, people compared him to Georgia's former linebacker who's now playing for the Atlanta Falcons, and for rightfully so, because he does play like him, except he might even be a scarier version. because of the fact that despite the fact he's not even 250 pounds, this man overpowers everybody.
Yeah.
This man's overpowered offensive linemen that are bigger than him, like 300 pounds. RBL's like what, Shaun? 230 something?
240, maybe 240, but he's fast and he's strong. He's got the
Yeah,
leverage.
he
I
don't
mean,
look like
he
he's
can-
like that's the thing. He is ridiculously strong for a guy who's not even big enough to go toe to toe with these bigger dudes, and that is what's so freaking crazy. But with Caden Curry, and he had been a talking point. He has 34 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, 7 sacks
I
already.
can't believe we finally got a guy almost going to get double-digit sacks this year. Last year we haven't had one. We haven't had
Well,
one.
actually, JT did get double-digit sacks last year.
Finally.
He did. But one pass breakup, one forced, I think it was it fumble recovery, and 26 pressures and 296 snaps.
Georgia
And
might
guess
not
what?
get double-digit sacks for the season as a team.
Yeah.
That's got to be.
And
That's
guess what?
wild.
Guess who his
That's
stats
bad.
are similar to? Guess I'm not saying he's as good as this guy, but guess who Caden Curry's stats is very similar to, if not better, almost.
Who's that?
Chase Young in 2019.
Oh yeah.
23 tackles for loss to Caden Curry's 34. Now he has
That was another one.
10.5 tackles for loss with 9.5 sacks through 7 games. This is just through 7 games. 1 pass breakup, 3 forced fumbles, and 30 pressures on 269 snaps. Like, when you tell me that you got a guy whose numbers is, you saying comparing it to that edge rusher and Chase Young, Chase Young, it's telling you having a season right now. And this through 7 games.
What were you gonna say, Uncle Lou?
I forgot. It wasn't whatever it was. It wasn't important. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Oh, and we still got some more new guys coming in. It's awesome to see y'all.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming in. Here. Now, Lou, if you had to make a guess right now, who do you think plays in the SEC championship game? If you think it's Georgia and Alabama?
I think it's going to be Alabama and Texas A&M, probably.
Okay.
Yeah. Alabama's got a tiebreaker over because Alabama's got a loss, but that's a non-con loss, right? Because it was Florida State. So even if Alabama loses a game, they're still ahead of Georgia because of the tiebreaker. And A&M is undefeated right now. And now A&M could lose a couple of games. They're kind of like Miami. Like, we've seen this before through 6 or 7 weeks. Like, I want to see the next 6 or 7 weeks for Texas A&M. But if I had to put $1 right now, I'd say Texas A&M and Bama.
Were you shocked to see Carson Beck throw those 4 interceptions the other night?
No.
I don't think it
Now, first of all, I'm not a Carson Beck hater. I know there's a lot of Georgia fans who, he was terrible. I think Carson Beck's pretty good. But here's the thing about Carson Beck. He doesn't throw 1 interception. They come in bunches. He did it last year. There was 3 games last year where he threw 3 or more interceptions at Georgia. So he's good. But for whatever reason, it's kind of like a golfer. Like, once they start slicing the ball, they can't stop. Everything becomes a slice. That's how it's like. Once he throws an interception, you can just bank on it. There's going to be 1 or 2 more. And unfortunately, it cost Miami that game. Mario Cristobal cost. I don't know. Mario Cristobal has got to be the worst fourth quarter coach maybe ever. He just continues to make boneheaded decisions. Even that game against Florida State, it was 28-3 entering the fourth quarter. Florida State won the fourth quarter 18-0. They let Florida State score 18 points, come all the way back on them. They didn't win, and then they have the thing a couple of years ago where they didn't take a knee, and the guy fumbled, and Georgia Tech scooped it up and scores a touchdown and beats them when all you had to do was take a knee and win. Why are they throwing? Carson Beck's been doing nothing but throwing interceptions. Why are you're in field goal range? Why are you throwing the ball? Kick the field goal and win the game. What are you doing? Like, I don't know. So I think Miami's good. I think this is the best chance they've had to make the playoffs. I think their offense was clearly better last year with Cam Ward, but their defense is good enough this year to get them to the playoffs, I think. But boy, if they get there, it's going to be hard to trust Mario Cristobal in some of these big-time coaching matchups because he just seems to find a way to blow it. in the second half. And Miami's last two regular games of the season are both on the road. And we've seen this. We talked about Texas A&M in the 8 and 4 thing. We've seen this with Miami before. I mean, Miami's been in the top 10, top 5, and then November comes around and they lose to Georgia Tech for no reason. Or
Syracuse.
this year, Syracuse, and this year they play at Pitt, I think, who's not a terrible team.
No.
And at Virginia Tech, maybe. Anyway, it's back-to-back road games for Miami, game 11 and 12. I would not be at all shocked if they lose one of those. It's just we've seen this with Miami over and over and over again.
Now, I was wondering, since you're in Georgia and you're close to Florida down there, what do the Gator fans, who do they want to be their next coach? Who are they calling for?
I would call Lane Kiffin would be my first 3 phone. I would make him tell me no 3 times if I'm Florida. I think Lane Kiffin would win immediately at Florida. He's probably the best coach in the country when it comes to finding talent out of the portal. He's done it 2 or 3 years in a row now. His hit rate on portal players is through the roof. Now at Ole Miss, you'll never be able to recruit out of high school in the top 15. You'll never be able to do that. At Florida, the right coach can do that almost easily because there's so much high level talent in the state of Florida.
Exactly.
If Lane Kiffin can get the job at Florida and recruit, he doesn't even have to recruit in the top 5. If he can recruit in the top 10 or 15 at Florida and then take the same portal principles he's using at Ole Miss and apply that to Florida to fill holes there, I don't want Florida to hire Lane Kiffin. And I don't think anybody in the SEC should want that outside of Florida fans, because I think he will be a big problem for everybody in the SEC if he gets the job at Florida. So I think that's who Florida's going to try to get. If they don't get him, James Franklin, Alex Golish at South Florida, Rhett Lashley at SMU. I really don't know. But I would make Lane Kiffin tell me no 3 times if I was the Florida athletic director.
I mean, the guy's an offensive genius, and all those Florida kids right there, why wouldn't you want to go play for him? I mean, throws the ball around a lot, great offensive mind. Fun offense to play in. You think kids would just jump at the opportunity to go want to play for him? So.
And their defense, not so great this year, but last year they had one of the best defenses in the SEC, so he's not ignorant when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. He just lost a lot of the talent he had off of last year's team, and because they can't recruit very well at Ole Miss, it's a drop-off this year defensively for Ole Miss, but last year they were really good defensively. They beat Georgia last year in Ole Miss, but that would be a problem, Lane Kiffin at Florida, I think.
One thing I
definitely think so too.
There's one thing I do want to ask you. Do you think Vanderbilt is a team that's here to stay for a while, or do you think it's like just a blimp, 2-year, 3-year thing for him, or do you think he's actually building a sustainable program there?
Yeah. Now, the way I look at that is like you have your set of teams that's like Georgia, Bama, Ohio State, Oregon. They could lose quarterbacks, they could lose coordinators, they can lose half their roster to the draft, and because you've seen them be good year after year after year after year, it's really easy to go, okay, they lost a lot, but they'll get it figured out. They'll be good again next year, right? Mm-hmm. The thing with me with teams like Indiana, Vandy, TCU a couple of years ago, especially now in the age of the portal, you can have a pop year, kind of out of the blue year, where you end up being really good, and then you could disappear the next year. You could go back to what you were before. So when it comes to teams like Indiana, Vandy, whatever other teams you want to mention in that same category, I have to see it kind of to believe it. Now I'm believing it with Indiana now. Mm-hmm. I didn't want Indiana to be good because I don't like Kurt Cignetti. My God. I mean, it doesn't matter whether I like him or not. Doesn't appear to be affecting his ability to coach football because, unfortunately, the guy just knows what he's doing. I'm convinced now with Cignetti because he's done it 2 years in a row with 2 different quarterbacks. So I'm convinced on Cignetti.
I mean, everywhere he's won. So.
Yeah. Vandy so far has won with Diego Pavia. Mm-hmm. Let's see what happens when he's gone, and they have to sort of retool that offense. Are they able to continue to play at this level? I'm not saying they can't, but that's the difference in the way I view a Vanderbilt situation versus Alabama. Alabama's got a new quarterback this year. Didn't matter. It's Alabama. They're probably going to be pretty good. Like, that's how I looked at it. They just always are pretty good. Vandy, I got to see it to believe it.
Well,
Oh,
this
yeah.
year with the SEC, you guys had, what was it, more than half the teams had brand new starting quarterbacks this year?
Yeah, a lot of Georgia, Tennessee, Bama, Auburn, Oklahoma, Missouri. Got boy, how bad are Penn State fans feeling when they got to look at Drew Aller and then Bo Pebular, whatever the hell his name is, down there in Missouri, $350 a game, and they had him up there, and they just let him walk out.
Let me tell you something. That's bad. Like him and Kodoniki do not mesh. Like if you actually got him, I said it with Drew Aller. You should have came to Ohio State because Ryan Day would have developed you into an NFL quarterback because you got the arm, you got the talent, you just didn't have the coaching.
Yeah, that's the thing. Drew Aller is one of those guys. I call it the underwear Olympics, but like when he goes to the combine,
He's going to shine.
he'll score off the chart. He looks like he was built in a lab to play quarterback. He's 6'4". He can make every throw. Like but unfortunately, he's not good at the game of football, which it turns out is pretty important.
Especially if you're a quarterback, right?
Yeah.
You got to make the most decisions. I mean, most important.
Anthony Richardson.
And like I said, it comes down to the fact you're not getting the proper coaching because I don't think him like Kodoniki, the things that like he likes to do fit the quarterback who just left. What was his name again?
Well,
Pribula or whatever.
Yeah, Pubula
Yeah.
or whatever. But he fits their offense and what they want it to do. Drew Aller doesn't fit that at all. He really needs.
Yeah, you're right because at the very least, Drew Aller should be what Carson Beck is. Because they're the same type of quarterback, big, tall, big arm guys that can't do a lot of running around, but they're sort of prototypical old school NFL pocket passing quarterback. And a guy like that behind a good offensive line should be able to throw for 250, 300 a game in his sleep. And Drew Aller hadn't been able to do that. So it must be the coaching or something. But you remember Anthony Richardson at Florida? The guy was terrible. I mean, he couldn't complete. He was absolutely awful at playing football. He shows up at the combine and looks like a superhero out there in the underwear Olympics. And the Colts go out and draft him number 4 overall because he can run fast and jump high. And I'm like, you got to be. Watch a single game this guy played. He's terrible. I mean, Usain Bolt can run fast. That doesn't make him a wide receiver. Like.
Their whole thinking is, hey, we got the NFL coaches. We can develop him.
Yeah, they always smarter than they are. Yeah.
But yeah, and speaking of such, because Andrew, I saw your chat earlier that you're new from Funkaloo's channel and welcome to the show. But let me tell you something. If you're James Franklin go to Florida, it is no different than Billy Napier going there, except at least James Franklin will probably get you like at least at 10-2.
Yeah.
At least, but you're gonna be fed up with his inability to win the big games. I'm just gonna tell you that now. Yeah. But at least unlike Billy Napier, he can actually get you 10 wins. Yeah. That's just truthful. So,
Uncle Lou, want to ask you, get your take. If you pick who do you got in the final 4?
Well, like I mentioned a couple of times, it's hard to figure that out because you don't know how the brackets are going to fall down. So, like to use last year as an example, I think Oregon was the second best team in the country. They didn't make the Final Four because they had to play the best team in the country in round 2. So without knowing how the brackets are going to work out, the 4 teams that I think are playing the best football today would be Ohio State, Indiana, Alabama, in whatever order you want to put them in. To me, that's pretty obvious. And I'm not talking about where teams should be ranked, by the way, because ranking a team versus how good you think a team are. So I'm not saying Alabama should be ranked 3rd or anything like that. I'm just saying that's who I think is playing the best football right now, Alabama, Ohio State, and Indiana. The 4th one gets a lot harder because I think there's, Oregon I still think is pretty good. I'm not sure what happened there in the Indiana game. I wasn't shocked that Indiana beat them. I was shocked that they sort of handled them like they did. I thought it would have, if Indiana won that game, I thought it would have been similar maybe to the Ohio State-Oregon game from last year, something that comes down to the very end, could go either way type of deal. And that wasn't the case. I mean, Indiana went up there and slapped them around for 3 hours. So that surprised me, but I still think they're a pretty good team. I think Georgia's a pretty good team. I think Texas A&M is a pretty good team. I think Texas Tech is an interesting one. They did lose last week, but they were without their starting quarterback. So they'll be getting him back. It's not a season-ending thing with him, so he'll be back. And I think they're pretty good. They had beat everybody they've played by 24 points until this past week. They're pretty good. Texas Tech. Miami's got the talent to be one of the best four teams, I think. But the combination of Carson Beck having these sort of odd games out of the blue, plus the coaching malpractice that I see there, makes me wonder if Miami could win a couple of playoff games to get to the Final Four. Again, it would depend on the matchups in the brackets. But those are sort of the teams I think right now that are sort of trending towards the end.
How do you feel about Texas Tech and what they're doing down there? I mean, I know they're pumping a lot of money in, spend a lot of money on the portal. Got some pretty good recruits coming in now. They're pouring a lot of money in. How do you feel about? Think it's sustainable for them?
Yeah, I like the coach, and it's worked this year. I always when you portal that many players in, I don't know that is sustainable year over year, because I feel like eventually you're just going to miss on too many of those guys. You look at Florida State, right? They portal a bunch of players in, they win the ACC. They portal a bunch of players in, the next year they go 2-10. They portal a bunch of players in, like that's I don't now I know we're sort of lucky as Georgia and Ohio State fans that our teams recruit in the top 5 every year, so it's sort of easy for us to sit up on a perch and go, you should be recruiting out of high school, not bringing in 50 portal players. But the reality is, without the portal, Texas Tech would be what they've always been, which is not much. So some schools like that sort of have to go the route of the portal. Now, Florida State doesn't. That's just a terrible decision on the part of Mike Norvell and them. Their sort of philosophy is wrong at Florida State. They should be recruiting in the top 10. They can at Florida State. Texas Tech can't. So I understand why they're doing it. I just don't know if it can be repeated success-wise year over year, as opposed to sort of building the foundation of your team through high school recruiting, where everybody is sort of bought in with the culture and everything that you got going on. They've been there a couple of years, I think that's a better way to go for more long-term sustained success. But I understand why the Colorados and the Texas Techs and teams like that do what they do through the portal. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Because it seems
Yeah,
like
I'm not gonna lie. When it comes down to it, sorry, Sean, but when it comes down to it, you can recruit in high school as greatly as you want to, but you still have to develop. Like development is always going to be the biggest thing. It doesn't matter how well you recruit; it's how well can you develop. Because you've seen schools like, for instance, Ohio State. We've had 5 stars here before, but we've also had to fill in a bunch of spots with 3 stars before. And a lot of the 3 stars we've had, we didn't get called 3-star youth for no reason. It's because we were able to develop a lot of 3 stars. I mean, even now, you look at our 2025 class and our 2026 class, like we got 3 stars that could potentially break out. I mean, Jason Moore, one of the 3 stars we got from a previous class, he's breaking out somewhat. Now you're seeing him come on. Like, you got to be able to develop these guys. If you can develop these guys, doesn't matter what type of star recruit you're bringing in. It doesn't matter, because we've seen a lot of 5 stars. Like, I can talk to you about Michigan right now. These guys may buy a lot of 5 stars, or you can go back to Texas A&M when they were buying 5 stars. Guess what? Their team still sucked because their coaches didn't know how to develop them. So you can get as many top recruits. You should be building at a high school no matter what. The reality is,
Jordan Davis was a 3-star at Georgia. Lad McConkey was a 3-star, the slot receiver that we had, who, by the way, shout out Lad McConkey, UJ wide receiver, had more yards receiving last year in the NFL than any Ohio State wide receiver.
Okay.
Now that blows my mind.
Hey, congrats, man. Congrats, y'all.
That's awesome, man.
Two Georgia players last year had more receiving yards in the NFL than any. Brock Bowers and Lad McConkey each had more yards last year than any.
Well, Brock Bowers, I'm not shocked. Lad McConkey, I was shocked by how good he was, but I'm not. But hey, look, tip your hat to Georgia for your 2 best guys.
Yeah,
I was playing Ohio State receivers that one year.
I wish we still had them.
Well, the thing I was gonna say is, like, Texas Tech, they're buying all those portal players, but they're starting to buy the high school players now. They're buying these, giving these 5-star kids millions and millions of dollars.
But you do have to be careful with that, though, Sean, because we talked about it. You can buy these kids because here's the thing: if that's all they're there for is money, and as soon as things start going bad, it could go downhill. So you better have more than just money. Like, you better be building a culture too.
Yep. So
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting to see what they do with it.
That's what happens at Florida State, right? You get to Florida State, you lose 2 or 3 games. Guess what? You got a roster of kids that, I'm sorry, don't care anything about Florida State. They
Uh-huh.
don't care about Florida State. They're mercenaries. They're there for a paycheck and maybe a step to the NFL down the road. They're not, and I know you have to recruit nationwide, and I get all that. And Jeremiah Smith's not from Ohio and probably didn't grow up an Ohio State fan, but there's something to be said for like the foundation of your team
Yeah.
being built through the high school recruiting, having people buy into what you're doing, what it means to be an Ohio State Buckeye, what it means to be a Georgia Bulldog, whatever.
Mhm.
Not, and again, Georgia uses the portal too. We portaled in wide receivers, we portaled in some defensive guys. I'm not anti-portal, but
Neither
the
are we.
foundation of your team, I think, needs to be,
High school.
if at all possible, the high school kids that are there, and not even just because they're high school kids, but because when you bring in a high school kid, you get them for 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 years. A lot of these portal people are one and done, and they just don't care about the school. So what happens? Florida State brings in a bunch of portal people, things start going sideways, and everything splinters. They don't care. They don't care. And so, yeah, it is what it is. Hey, guys, I got to get out
Thank
of here.
you. Thank you, Lou. We appreciate you, man. Thanks again for coming on. Please let everybody know where they can find you, man. Plug
Yeah,
your show.
just search Uncle Lou on YouTube, and I'll come up. I do a call-in show on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so if you ever want to, give me a call and talk some college football, that's a great time to do it. Tuesday, Thursdays, 9 p.m. Shout out to you guys for having me on. You guys always treat me good, and I appreciate that.
Please come back anytime you got an open invitation. Again, we appreciate you. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
All right,
Yeah.
guys. Good luck the rest of the season.
Thanks. You too. Hopefully
You
we see you
too.
in the playoffs.
We'll see.
Good luck. Thanks again,
Fuck,
Lou.
man.
All right. How the hell do I get out of here?
Just hit the back button at the top.
Oh, got you.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey guys, before we get out of here, please everybody go to the Patreon page. Check out Buck Vader's blog about the recruiting, man. He's on fire. He freaking he's hitting it out of the ballpark, man. He will let you know what OSU is doing right now and their method right now that they're doing. The article's awesome. TG, you read it too.
Yeah.
I mean, guy's on fire, man.
Oh yeah,
Buck
it's doing
Vader.
great.
Killing
And
it.
for all of you, usually I would do my NFL rundown, but because I did so much running around, I did not have the time to do it. So I'm gonna do it Thursday, pre-record, and then have it up to recap last week 8, I would say, of the NFL. And I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it. I'm just gonna break down exactly our Buckeyes in the NFL and how things went for them. I'm gonna tell you, like I said, things are not going well for Justin right now. I'm gonna tell you that now. But it's unfortunate, but hopefully at some point we get to see more of our Buckeyes and how well they're doing, especially Quinshon Junkins. Like, I'm going to tell you guys what he's been doing because he's been killing it, actually, as a rookie running back. He's actually leading. I think he's leading all rookies, and he didn't even play in the beginning as a running back. Like, this kid didn't play that much, and he's leading rookies in receiving. Not receiving, rushing yards.
You know why he's killing it? You know why?
Wow.
This is like our friend Bill would say. He's all about that business.
That business, yeah. Oh, by the way, we do got a little bit of news from the SEC actually, because one of their officials have been permanently suspended from conference games by the SEC. His name is Ken Williamson, and guess what?
What's that?
This is the same head official that effed over Ohio State against Clemson in 2019.
Oh no! I hope they kick his ass out of the NCAA and you can't ref again. So
yeah, that's the same guy. I read that and I'm like, okay, I gotta put that on the show because that's too good to not tell.
hey guys, again, thank you for joining us and our buddy Buckeye Bill. If you didn't see last night, he was on the show last night. He's got a new podcast on Facebook called About That Business. And I tell you what, him and Miss Ladybuck kick butt, guys. Please go check their stuff out, man. It's amazing. He came on and he tore it up with me and TG last night. We had a ball. It was a blast. What a fun show it was. And thanks to Uncle Lou for coming on. Appreciate that, dude. And thanks for checking us out tonight too. This is not normally our show Wednesday nights, but Lou has this Tuesday night show, so we thought could get him to come on tonight, and he more than like he came on, so he was real awesome.
Oh yeah, and trust me, guys. Again, go ahead and check out his show. You guys are gonna love it. And not only that, but also go ahead and check out About That Business with Buckeye Bill. It is gonna be the best. And trust me, you may see us on with him a lot more, including on his show. Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be tuning in on Facebook whenever I get the opportunity to. Because hopefully I can stop doing all the running around.
You agree with me that Buckeye Bill is a future star just waiting to explode till everybody gets to see him? Because I think he's
Yeah.
gonna explode. I mean, he's dynamite, man. He is fire, bro. I mean, he jumps in, he basically kicks your screen down and comes jumping through the TV at you, man. He is that excitement. I mean, just adrenaline full, firecracker.
We have Michigan fans literally ripping on Justin Fields right now. I'm literally seeing it.
We knew
A
that was gonna happen.
Barstool, like legit. David Portnoy is taking his shots at Fields, given how Woody Johnson had trashed him. Now it's like you got these Michigan fans taking shots at his ass.
Oh.
They talk about he was a joke in college. It's like, it's funny because you lost to him.
It was a joke in college. What do you mean it was a joke in college?
That's what they're saying. Like legit, right here on my Facebook, they say he was a joke in college and now he's a joke in the NFL. I'm like, God, he was not a joke in college. What are we doing today? He was an excellent college football player. Like, yes, his NFL career hasn't worked out. Look, I can't keep defending him either because his NFL career is not looking good, even though he hasn't been in the greatest of situations like most quarterbacks. Like, first of all, there's no excuse for JJ McCarthy, Michigan fans. Let me tell you that straight up right now. This dude sucks with Justin Jefferson, James Addison, and freaking TJ Hawkinson and Aaron Jones as his main weapons. You got an excellent run game with excellent wide receiver play, and you got an excellent offensive line. And guess what? Donnie Jackson's back. That offensive line's been coming back kicking butt, and this dude's still trash. So what's JJ's excuse? Because JJ came into a better situation than Fields ever did coming into the NFL. So what is his excuse, people?
He's on what, his fourth different offensive coordinator since he's been.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie. When it came to the Jets, I was hoping they would be a better team for him. I mean, yeah, they didn't have the receivers, but man, it's like you had a promising offensive line, you had a promising team. That team had a promise in week 1 because they were killing it, and then it's like week 2 all the way to week 8, these guys have sucked.
Man, I feel bad for him. I love Justin. He played his heart out here. He was awesome here. Should have won a national championship. We all know what happened. They got screwed. But hey, it is what it is. But he owned you, Michigan, so shut your mouths. You guys
I'm
are
about to
scared
say
to play
he
him.
owned y'all, like, brother, he has 2 victories. Y'all got none on him, so shut your mouths. Like, especially you, Dave Portnoy. Shut your goddamn mouth, bro. Shut up, man. Justin Fields owns Michigan. Period. Point blank. Don't talk nothing about him. And Lisa, what is CJ's problem? I have no idea yet. I'll check it out. I'll try to see what his problem is, but I have no idea.
Guys, again, we've been on here for almost an hour and a half. Thank you for hanging with us this whole time. Wonderful show. Awesome guest. A lot of fun. TG, we got to learn a lot about the SEC tonight.
Yep.
A lot of fun. Is there anything else you want to mention before we wrap this up?
No, not right now. There's no news. I just figured I'd mention some of this big news that I found. Like the one I just found was just me scrolling on social media, and it's the first thing that pops up, and I'm like, seriously?
Well, don't forget about tomorrow.
Oh yeah, tomorrow we got the Buckeye ladies. Now, again, I don't know if Mika can come on again. She would let us know, but if she can't, like Mika, you're watching. If you can, let me know if you can. If you could come onto the show, because if you can, I'll send you the link. If you can't, Shaun will take over for you. Same with Tony. Like they'll take over.
Mika, if you can make it though, we'd love to see you back out there. Because tell you the truth, me and Tony can't fill in for you. I mean, number 2.
Yeah, like I do miss your. I'm not gonna lie, I miss her recruiting, what you call it, when she breaks stuff down. And I can't, and guys, when Mika comes back, when she's fully able to come back, and again, send prayers to her father, and her family, because her father, it seems like he might be doing better, but still send prayers to them and hope that her father can recover from surgery that he's been having. So, and when she comes back, she'll have her own blog and or channel regarding around recruiting, just like Buck Vader. So you guys will get more
Guys,
insight when that happens. I promise you, you guys are gonna be there to see it on Patreon. I
guys,
promise.
guys, if you can, $5 a month. If you can't afford the 20, we understand. If you can't do the 5, we understand that too, because there is a free membership over there. There's free message
Yes,
boards, but if you pay the 5 extra bucks, man, you get so much more. The 20, you
and then
get
you
a
get
lot
the
more too.
money.
I mean, you get hat, shirt, magazine. You get to watch the Patreon, the games we live stream on Saturdays. And Friday night, Eric's been doing it. Eric and Chris have been doing this. They whatever college games on Friday night, they stream it, and it's like just a big block. I call it like a block party, man, because we all just go in there in the chat room and kick it, talk about everything, watch the game, have fun, joke around. I mean, all kinds of stuff gets discussed there, but we just have a blast, and it's a good way for everybody in the community to get together on a Friday night and kick it. So
And you guys are going to want to be a part of it because trust me, you're going to love that community. Again, it's an awesome community. It's something where all fans, especially, can enjoy themselves, especially mainly for the Ohio State Buckeye fans. It's a real, honest, fun community that you're going to want to be a part of. And again, this is the realest of the real Buckeyes podcast you're going to see. Again, we'll cover all standings of the Buckeyes, not just here in college football, but in the NFL as well. We'll keep you updated with those guys and how well they're doing. And again, send your support for those guys, even if they're having their worst year of their careers. Still send your support to those guys because they're going to need it. So,
please,
okay.
please, when you go on Patreon, check out Vader's vlog and the message, guys. We have a message board and a chat room. There's a free message board for the free guys, and there's a pay one that you get when you pay for it. So, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a chat room in there too, so you can make new friends. Let your point. Let everybody. If you got a point, you want to get out there and tell somebody something. That's a perfect opportunity, man. Just jump in and just enjoy it. Have fun. If you want to make a point about something, do it. Or hey, you want to talk about the offensive line? You want to talk about the running backs? You want to talk about, you know, Big Ten? We got all kinds of stuff you can talk about in them chat rooms. As
Yeah,
long as
I
you
think
keep
we
it
have like what
clean.
6, 7 chat rooms.
I mean, the message boards fire. I mean, the Vader has his blogs and the message boards. Vader's running the message boards. Like TG said, when Mika gets around to it, she's going to have her own recruiting stuff going on. Vader's been hitting the recruiting pretty hard and letting everybody know about Ohio State's method. And if you go read what he put, you're going to understand what they're doing and why they're killing it. So, hey,
Again,
Bill, thank you.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, man. And if you want to be a part of the Patreon, you can just go to Patreon and get the free membership. If you don't want to pay the $5 or the $20, you just get the free membership. But if you want to pay the $5, it would definitely help us out too. So,
Well, and you get a lot, and you get more stuff too, man. If you can afford the
mhm.
20, you get T-shirt, hat, the freaking killer magazine that they got. I mean, all
Oh yeah,
kinds of
you'll get
stuff.
it all if you do the 20. But
Yeah.
if you can't, just do the 5, and trust me, you guys will love it just as much as well. So again, it's a great community. You guys are gonna want to be a part of it.
You get more content too, guys, and there's a lot more content. There's going to be some new shows coming up after the season's over, and it's going to be fire. I'm telling you, there's going to be stuff that we got in the works. You guys are going to just love it. I promise you, it's going to be bad A double S. So
Yep. And trust us, guys, we got a lot of stuff planned coming up, and we can't wait to start implementing it. Hopefully, it all works out, and we believe it will. But the more you guys keep helping us grow this channel, the more it'll help all of us. So again, be a part of it. You guys are gonna love it.
we appreciate you guys. Have a good night. TG, how do we wrap this thing up?
OH,
IO
go Bucks!
scum still sucks.
Bye,
Peace.
everybody.
Thank y'all.